All right, Shalom, Israel. Shalom, Shalom. It's Brother Nashan, New Wine Congregation of Israel. Right, coming at you with another class, man. This is gonna be on how to calculate the Hebrew calendar. All right, we getting towards that time of the year, the new year for the Israelites. All right, no matter in well, first and foremost, I'm gonna give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. All right, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Yahweh is who the world ignorantly calls God. Bahashem in the name of, and Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. All right. But like I was saying, we getting towards that time of the year, the new year for the Israelites. Now, the formula that I'm gonna show you using the scriptures, this will work no matter what moon you keep, whether you keep the crescent, Salakia, the dark moon, the full moon, right? Of course, here at New Wine Congregation of Israel, we subscribe to the full moon as the new moon. All right. So let's kick this thing off. Let me share my screen real quick. Well, willing and let me share the entire screen. Let's see. It ain't let me do it. Okay. Let me share one of the screens. I don't know what that is. I gotta get more savvy with this StreamYard. All right, so this is what y'all can see. Okay. So, right, for the Hebrew calendar, what you got to understand is that spring is the starting point for the new year. All right. And well, let me say it a different way. In order to figure out when the new year is, you have to know when spring is. All right. Now, there's a way to do that. In 2025, we can just look on the internet and see when spring will start. Or you can also use the scriptures and use the signs that the Lord gave us for when spring starts. Right. So I'm gonna just for the sake of teaching this lesson. Let me see. 5:14. Okay, cool. For the sake of teaching this lesson, I'm gonna just look up when does spring start this year. All right. So when does spring start this year? Right. So well, this is some thing what I was looking for, but this is some helpful information to know. When does spring start? The first day of spring is at the vernal equinox. Right. So that's important to know. If there was no internet and you just had to use the signs, the stars, moon, the sun, all right, to understand what season you were in, you would basically measure the daylight. All right. And not equinox, it has the word equal in it. Okay. So basically what that is when you have exactly the same amount of daylight and nighttime, right? It says it here when day and night are equal. So it'll be 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. All right. That's what the equinox is. You have two, one in the spring and you got one in the fall. All right. So hope I'm not saying that wrong. All right. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, one in the spring and one in the fall. But I want to just look up when the spring start this year. If it'll tell me. All right. So here, the first day of spring 2025 is on Thursday, March 20th. All right. March 20th. Okay. So we got that understood. Okay. So the next thing you would need to do, depending on what moon you keep, right? Like I said, we keep the full moon. So it says the spring starts on March 20th. Now you can fact check that, calculate if it'll get you, you can get a sundial or something like that, and you can see if it's exactly 12 hours a day and 12 hours a night. All right. And if it is, then you know that was the equinox. Okay. It says for us in the northern hemisphere. Exactly. All right. So March 20th. So that's important. Now, what we need to do is see when the first full moon is in March. Moon in March 2025. Now, this is one way to do it, right? Another way to do it, and I'm going to get to that later, is you can look at when your last, whatever calendar you go by, if you made it through the year this year, you can count 30 days from that date. All right. And that'll be another full moon. I'm going to explain how I'm saying 30 days. I'm going to explain that to you. Right. But just for the sake of this video, we're going to do it like this. I've done it like this before. All right. But I'm going to show you that it's exactly 30 days in every, between each full moon. Why is they showing all of this? All right. So here it says find out when the full moons are. So you can, they got a full moon calendar. Ignore the astronomy. Oh, they pop ups. Let me get off of here. Oh, y'all can't see that anyway. All right. So it says find out when the full moons will occur in 2025 and what they are called. So they call them different names. Don't worry about that. So it says the next full moon is on February 12th. All right. And it says the one after that is on March 14th. All right. So I'm not going to calculate the calendar this year. I'm going to show you how you would do it. Okay. This is not a video of me making the calendar this year. We're going to do that off camera. You know what I'm saying? Lord willing, one year, maybe we'll do it on camera so y'all can see what I'll go into that. All right. So it says, let me write this down. It says that this year, the full moon is going to be on March 14th. All right. So in a nutshell, let me just write that down real quick. March 14th. So remember, it said spring, it starts in March 20th. So we would have to go to the next full moon. All right. And I'm going to explain to you why. We would have to see when the full moon would be in April. And that's going to be the start of our year because spring has to have started in order for us to be in the new year. All right. Spring has to have started in order for us to be in the new year. All right. Let me show you what I mean. Let's go to the Bible. Let's go to the Bible. We're going to go to the book. Matter of fact, before I go there, let me get the one with the Apocrypha. I hate that it ain't letting me just share the screen, all the screens. I don't know why it's doing that. It's making it a little bit more difficult than I want it to be. I got one up. All right, so let's go to the book of Sirach real quick. Let me show you why I'm a little bit of why I'm saying what I'm saying with the Bible. All right, Sirach chapter 43, and we're gonna read verse number 6. Okay. And Salakia, y'all, I've been meaning to make this video for a while now. I just now getting around to it. So Salakia, y'all. Then that's another class. Been going through it a little bit, right? So Sirach 43 and verse 6, it says, he made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. So the moon is made to tell us what seasons we're in. All right, that's what that said. It said, from the moon is the sign of feast, a light. It starts as a light that decreases in her perfection, goes from full to dark, right? It says the month is called after her name. So write this down. Moon and month mean the same thing. That's the same word, okay? Those are synonyms. Month is a synonym for moon, okay? You can write it like that. It says increasing after it goes from dark, it increases wonderfully in her changing, being made an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. All right. So the moon is to serve in seasons. Okay. The new moon in the spring season is when the new year starts. All right. So from there, let's go to Exodus chapter 12. Exodus chapter 12. And we're going to start at verse 1. All right. It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month, remember, month and moon mean the same thing. So what he's saying is this month or this moon, they had to be able to see it in order for them to know what he was talking about. All right. That's a shot at y'all Dark Moon brothers. I'm just playing. I love y'all brothers, man. But it says, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. This is the first moon of all the moons, right? It shall be the first month of the year to you. All right. So when he said this, what we have to ask is, what season were we in? Okay. What season was it? Let's go from there. Let's go to Exodus chapter 13. Let's go one verse over, and we're going to start at verse 3. It says, and Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which ye came out from Egypt, out from the house of bondage. For by strength of hand the Lord brought you out from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten. This day came ye out in the month of Abib. Okay, so that's important to understand. All right, done with coffee. This month is the month of Abib. This day came ye out in the month or moon of Abib. Abib means green ear. That's a clue to how we know it's talking about the springtime. When things start to turn green, it's in the spring. Everything is starting to blossom and become new in the spring, right? Let's jump down to verse 10. It says, thou shalt therefore keep this ordinance in his season from year to year. So you have some brothers that just go by, oh, I see corn growing. It's spring. No, in places like California, they grow corn all year round. Arizona, where the temperature is moderate, they can grow stuff all year. All right. They don't really experience all the seasons. So you have to have the seasons in their proper context with the conjunction of things growing and the moons. It all works together. You got to do them all in order to know what season you're in. You can't just go by when stuff is growing, because you'll be in January if you in somewhere like Arizona and you see corn and crops growing and you like it's spring. No, you can't go like that, right? So let me backtrack a little bit. So we got that understood, hopefully, that the new year starts in the spring. When we left out of Egypt, it was in the springtime, all right? Now, let me show you something real quick concerning that there's 30 days in each month. All right, let's go to Genesis. We're going to do a little bit of math real quick. All right, Genesis chapter 7. Get your pencils and erasers out. It's probably been a long time since any of us did some little math. Some of y'all in school, I'm old, so it's been a minute for me, but I still got it. You know, I used to love math. So, Lord, I'll praise to the Most High, right? So let's go to Genesis 7, and we're going to start at verse 11. All right. It says, this is dealing with Noah. Okay. It says, in the 600 year of Noah's life, in the second month, that's important. Write that down. Noah came out, the rain started in the second month. Okay. That's the key point out of this scripture that I want to give y'all. In the second month, the 17th day of the month. So you could say February 17th. The same day where all the fountains of the great deep broken up and the windows of heaven were open. So the rain started in the second month on the 17th day. All right. It rained for 40 days. Okay. 40 days it raining ain't what we got to have in this equation, but it did start in the second month. Okay. On the 17th day. Now let's jump down to verse 24. It says, and the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. So the days that the water was on the earth in total was 150. Write that number down. 150. Right? We're going to circle back to that number. Okay. Now let's go to the next chapter. Chapter 8, and let's go to verse 3. Okay, it says, and the waters returned from off the earth continually, and at the end of 150 days were the waters abated. So it's letting you know those waters stayed on the earth 150 days. Okay, 150 days. Verse 4, it says, and the ark rested in the 7th month. The ark was able to rest because the waters were gone. It rested in the 7th month on the 17th day. That number is important. The 7th month in the 17th day. You can just say, what's the 7th month? July. So from February to July, that water was there. Okay, so now let's do a little bit of math. So from February to July, that would be 5 months. How do you know that? 7th month or 7 minus 2, the second month, that will give you 5 months total. That water was there. It was there for 5 months, right? The water was there for 5 months. Okay. Now, how many days did it say the water was there? It told us we know how many months it was there. Now we got to go back and see how many days it was there. It said here, let me blow it up. It said the waters was there 150 days. So you take 150 days and divide it by 5 months, that would give you 30 days. That's how we know it's 30 days in a month. All right, it's 30 days in a month. Okay, simple to understand, hopefully. All right, so back to the equinox. That's going into when there's equal amounts of daylight and equal amounts of nighttime. So you got two. You got one in the spring, and then you got one in you got one in the spring and you got one in the fall. All right. So from there, let's go to Genesis. Genesis 1 and verse 14. Let me show you something else. So basically to make this simple, let me make this simple. Try to make it simple. You know it's 30 days in a month. All right. So once you know once you know when spring starts, that's your starting point for making the calendar. Spring this year starts March 20th. The full moon in March comes before spring. So you would have to go to the first full moon in the springtime. All right. First full moon in the spring. Remember, the Bible says the feasts have to be kept in their seasons. Abib means green ear. All right. So when the things start turning green, you know you're in spring. All right. You know you are in spring. That's a sign that you're in spring. Also, along with that, let me get this in Genesis 1. You got to look at the constellations, right? This is if we had no internet, all right? Let me get this in Genesis 1:14. It says, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, all right, and for days and years. Okay, so all the lights in the firmament, the stars, the sun, the moon, when you see the sun is out for 12 hours and then it's down for 12 hours, that's a sign of what season you're in. All right, I hope, Lord willing, I'm explaining that and it's easy to be understood. All right, so to make it easy when you calculate in your calendar, once you know when the first full moon is in spring, that's when that's the start of your year. All right, that is the start of your year. Okay, see how much time I got. That's the start of your year. All right, from there, it's very easy to make the calendar if all you do is go through and list the dates of the months. 30 days, right? 30 days. Let me show you another way you can know. Let me show you another way to know is 30 days in a month. It's an even number. All right. Look at this. Moon phases. All right. It's a good one here. All right, Lord willing, y'all can see that. All right. So from the full moon to the dark moon, it's an equal number of phases in that. All right. It's an equal number of phases in that. Now, this ain't 30 days, but the phases is what I want y'all to just see. The phases of the moon. It's an equal number of phases from the full to the dark, and it's an equal number of phases from the dark to the full. It's equal. All right. So it won't always be on the same day, but it will. Matter of fact, this is probably an even better. But this is a better one. I can't see what they said. I can't see what they saying. So, because when you look at it, if you notice it, when you look up, you'll see like these where I got the mouse. It's usually three. Yep, it's usually like 3 moons that all look full, but only one of them is full. All right, it's usually 3 of them. The one before the full, the full, and the one after the full. They all look full, but only one of them is full. You'll know which one is full if you count 30 days. All right, if you count 30 days, you're gonna get to the full moon. All right, we just did the math in Genesis to show you that it's 30 days in a month. All right, so hopefully that makes sense, Lord willing. All right, so now you said that the feasts got to be kept in their seasons. All right, let me see if there's anything else I need to go over. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it, right? So once you know when the full moon starts, and it's the first full moon in the spring, if to make your Hebrew calendar, you say, okay, the full, let me for let's see what, because we, okay, just for the sake of it, let's get the first full moon of the year. That will be the full moon in April. And like I said, this ain't, I'm not fact checking when they saying the dates is. I'm just showing you this for the sake of illustration. Full moon in April 2025. All right. When are they saying it is? Man, it's so hard to get them to just give me a date. Okay, here it says the full moon in April 2025 will be on Saturday, April 12th. All right, so let's say that's true. Okay, it should be 30 days between the full moon in March and the full moon in April. So because the full moon in March is before spring, you would need to go to the full moon in April. Now, sometimes, and last year we did it, but usually it's every 4 to 5 years you're gonna have what's called a double Adar, or in other words, a 13th month. All right. Adar is the 12th month of the year. The reason for that is because if you don't compensate for the feast being in the spring, if you don't do that, if you don't compensate for that time, all right, what's gonna happen is if you just go 30 days, 30 days, 30 days, 30 days, what's gonna happen is that eventually you're gonna have your Passover and it's gonna be in the wintertime. All right. It's gotta be in the seasons, it's gotta be in the spring. And that you could attribute that to the earth being out of course, right? Let me get this precept, right? That's the best way I can explain it. Brothers will be like, oh, usually it's supposed to be every 4 to 5 years, but you got to remember, the Bible says that the earth is out of course, man, because the Israelites ain't repented. It's a lot of things that ain't lining up the way that they normally would. Right? It's the book of Psalms, chapter 82 and verse 5. They know not, right? I'm going to read verse 4. It says, deliver the poor and the needy, rid them out of the hand of the wicked. So we in the hand of the wicked, the Israelites are, right? Until we are rid out of the hand of the wicked, as long as Esau is doing things to destroy the earth, to pollute the earth, right? This is what it says, they know not, neither will they understand, right? We understand this, man. Brother Nahshon don't know everything. I'm doing the best I can, man. The first time I tried to put the calendar together and understand the Hebrew calendar, I broke down crying because it for a lot of reasons. It was such a strenuous thing to do with my mind understanding two calendars, Esau calendar, and try to dig up the history of our calendar, understanding that it was stripped from us and it was lost because of the various captivities that we've been in, right? We don't understand all the way. We doing the best we can, man. Whether you keep the full moon, the dark moon, the crescent moon, no matter what moon you keep, no matter what Sabbath you keep, everybody's doing the best that we can. We just doing what our spirit bear witness with, right? It says they walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. Everything is out of course as long as we in the hand of the wicked one. So spring ain't gonna always show up when it's supposed to. So you gonna have more times when you got a double Adar. You're gonna have more times when you got a double. Let me get that in the book of Revelation, right? You're gonna have more times when you got a double Adar, man, because they destroying the earth. They doing things to destroy the earth, man. Let me get that in Revelation chapter 11. All these shooting rockets and testing nuclear bombs, all that stuff have an effect on the ecosystem, man. All right, Revelation 11 in verse number 18. It says, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come. The nations ain't gonna be happy when the Lord come back, when he show up. And the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. Right? So the nations are destroying the earth, man. They cutting all the trees down. All of that has a ripple effect on the ecosystem and on how things are working, man. The Bible say the earth is out of course. So to answer that, man, that's the best way I can answer with the scriptures, man. That's why you having so many double adars, because things we got to get out of this place, man. Right? I mean, you know, everything spring ain't gonna show up when it posed to, if half the country on fire and half of it is frozen. Right? So that's the reason behind that, man. That's why you got so much things out of course right now. But to summarize what I just said in this class, basically what you want to do to calculate the Hebrew calendar, figure out when spring starts. The first full moon in spring is the start of the new year. The first full moon in the spring is the start of the new year. All right. We know that because we came out of in the month of Bib, right? And Abib means green ear. Okay. And he said this month, or this moon, the moon, the full moon in this season is the start of the year for you all, right? And the first full moon this year, according to what I just looked up, would be April 14th. Okay, so once you know that, count 30 days. Boom, that's month 2. 30 days. Boom, that's month 3. And you go all the way down to month 12. Now, when you get to month 12, if the 13th moon that you get to is in the spring for the following year, then you don't need a double adar. That would be month 1 instead of month 13. But if you get to the next new moon after month 12 and it's before spring, then you have to have a double adar. And then you would say month 13, and then you start it all over again. Once you list the months down, then it's easy to just go to Leviticus chapter 23, right? You go to Leviticus for the high holy days. You got feast days mentioned in the book of Maccabees. You got Purim mentioned in the book of Esther, which is Purim is in Adar. All right. Feast of Nicanor is in Adar. I want to say, and I forget when dedication is, what month that's in. Caslu, I forget which month that is though. All right, but here, look, in the 14th day of the first month at even is Passover. And then so on, right? You go on down to I'm gonna go to where another one where it says, look here, in the 7th month, in the first day of the month, it should be a set. You know when the month starts, so you can go to the first day. Okay, you just list them out then, right? It's easy once you list the months out, then you can just go to the Bible and just say, okay, say this month, this new moon is on this day. All right. You go to in the verse 39, also in the 15th day of the 7th month, you just list it out and write them out, right? So Lord willing, I'll show y'all a process that we have one of these years of us making the calendar. It's a lengthy process. It can be. It can be strenuous. Sometimes we get days wrong. Somebody will catch it. We'll have to go back and make an amendment to the calendar. That happens, man. Especially when you just starting out and it's true, man. But just do it the best you can in sincerity and in truth. After we make our calendar this year, if anybody needs a copy of the calendar, just shoot us an email and we'll send you a PDF of it. All right. So most High willing, this was edifying, man, that you got something out of it. Try to make it simple and easy to understand how to calculate the Hebrew calendar. All right. So with that, I'm gonna give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah. It's your brother Nashan, New Wine Congregation of Israel. Kwam Yashala.